Hello, welcome to my little potato patch. I've got these potatoes just growing in grow bags in my front yard because I've run out of room in the backyard. And yeah, they're growing in grow bags. I've got some in these black plastic tubs, and can't remember when I planted them, probably about a month ago. They take about 100 to 120 days to be ready to be harvested. And basically what I do is I just get my seed potatoes and I plant them in about 10 centimeters worth of, I use a mix of potting mix and sheep manure. Doesn't have to be very scientific, honestly. I just kind of use whatever potting mix I've got on hand, and some sheep poo, and then I put some straw in there as well. And basically what happens is they start to sprout and poke up above the straw, and then as they're sprouting, once they're sort of growing taller and taller, you just keep adding more potting mix and manure and straw, because you're covering up the stems of the plant. These are indeterminate varieties of potato, and I've done this with determinate varieties as well, but basically what it means is that the potatoes grow along the stalk of the potato, so you want to keep mounding it up. If you were growing it in a garden bed or in the ground, you'd just mound up the soil on top of it, but in pots you can just keep filling up the pots. I've got a few more to fill up along here, like back here. I've got to keep filling these ones up, but that can be a job for another day. Let's go and check out the backyard. Beautiful day here today in Melbourne. Fruit trees getting leafier and leafier. You can see some little plums forming on this tree. This nectarine here is pretty heavily infested with aphids. I think I spoke in my last video about what I'd done in the past for these. This year I'm trying something different. I might give it, because it's a hot day today, or it's not cold at least, I might actually give it a spray with the hose and just see if I can blast off some of these aphids today. But otherwise it's fairly healthy. Peach tree, this has a few aphids as well, you can see. But it's looking really healthy. It's a bit of an uneven espalier, this one, because it's missing a branch down there. Same with this nectarine. The puppy over there, she took that branch, and then I can't remember what happened to that one. Some other incident, but it's compensating by putting out this really long branch. Anyway, I'm just going to see how it goes, and if it keeps making fruit on there, then that's great. My little quince tree is starting to flower. Again, this culprit over here, she took it right down to the stump. Yeah, but it seems to be bouncing back all right. I've got lots of everlasting daisies here. These ones are a sort of purpley red colour. I'll show you some that I've got hanging up to dry. Look at my beautiful pear tree. Oh, almost tripped over. These two pears, I just really love the flat espalier structure. I think it looks really nice. It looks just beautiful. In my last video I spoke about putting up this little temporary fencing system to keep the dog out, because she kept ripping out my weeper hoses. Look at all of these beautiful snow peas. I picked that because instinctively I just wanted to eat it, but then you'd have to hear me crunching away on camera, so I might just have to save that one for later. I'm going to put my hat down there and collect a few. Beautiful silver beet, we've been having some of that. Oh, I'll show you the drying daisies. Look at these. So pretty. So these are obviously ones I picked earlier because the stems are drying up. You hang them upside down to dry, otherwise they get really floppy if you hang them, if you've got them up in a vase like that. But if you hang them upside down to dry, the stems dry really stiff, and then you can put them in a vase and they'll be pointing upwards. So I've just got a little wire loop that I've made up, and when I pick a few more I'll just thread them on there, and they look really nice inside as a little display. I've had some for years that are still holding their colour. They do fade a little bit over time, but otherwise they hold their colour really well. Some tomatoes, I've got them growing in this bed here with some old sprouting broccoli, which is still getting a little bit of, which is nice. And I'll start to tie these tomatoes up. I've staked all of them. They're getting pooed on a bit because I've still got this sort of flimsy structure here that I had up for protecting the broccoli from the cabbage moth, which worked really well. I had a net over here, but I think the birds are sitting on these as perches and pooing on my tomato plants, so I'll probably, there's one there, I'll probably get rid of this shortly and leave the vertical posts in to tie the tomatoes to. Beautiful blue salvia that I pinched from a garden, public garden. Some things popping up here. Anything I pull out, like weeds, as long as it's not flowering and seeding, I just leave it where it is, because, you know, like this one over here, that has taken a lot of nutrients from the soil to grow, and I want to return those nutrients back to the soil. So don't just take from your garden, you've got to give back as well. Same with if I'm pulling out any old anything old in the garden, like this dill. If I was to pull it out, I wouldn't pull out the whole root ball. I would chop it and leave the roots in the ground to rot, because they're full of like a mycorrhizal fungi, bacteria, and all sorts of good stuff that I don't want to lose. If I pull it out, it'll all dry out and die. Whereas if I cut it off, it can escape into other areas of the bed and form little colonies with the other plant root systems, and those bacteria and fungi are really important for helping convert nutrients into a plant, into a something that the plant can take up through its roots. So I just do the chop at the base, and then I put all this back into the garden bed as well. Like you can see here, some old nasturtiums that I've just chucked on here. They act as a bit of a mulch as well to stop water evaporating from the surface. So yeah, tomatoes are looking healthy. Garlic is looking really healthy. I've had some problems in the past with rust, which was like a, you know, an orange, speckly, yucky looking disease that sort of stunted the growth of the garlic, and I was growing them in pots at the time, and these seem much happier in the garden bed. Lots more peas here, just beautiful. Lots of spring onions, dill everywhere. I just, when my old dill plant dried up, I just shook the seeds all around the garden. Down here I've planted, just using some cuttings, I just laid them on the ground, some creeping boobiella, or Myoporum parvifolium it's called, which is a native plant. It's a ground cover. I've got some in the front yard, and it's really hardy, so I figured I might as well get some greenery going in my pathways. So I've got a few of those around. I've got some just over there as well, with some dill growing in it, of course. Yeah, so lots going on. The chookies, beautiful girls. These girls are really friendly, hey? Hello. Hey, pretty ladies. Oh, you're trying to eat my ring? Oi. Hey. Before I had a toddler, all my chooks had names, and I remembered which ones they were. They still have names, but I don't recall which one's which. One of these red ones is called Sigrid. Hello. That one over there is soybean, turmeric, and sesame. No, your sesame, the white one. Grey one's soybean. My big fluffy girl there, she's turmeric. And these three are Sigrid, and two other names that I can't recall off the top of my head. As I said, I've got a toddler now, so these things become, your chooks become less of your children. They still are, but yeah, priorities. Beautiful eggs. I just use mini hemp as the bedding. It's very, very absorbent, much more so than straw. Are you coming to say hello, are you? You coming to say hello? Hello, ladies. Hey, gorgeous. Hello. Yeah, so they're laying a lot at the moment, which is wonderful. Some plums here. This is a Satsuma blood plum. Little plum on it. I just love seeing fruit develop. I just love watching it grow and thinking, oh, I cannot wait to eat that. Look at this gorgeous tree. This is a quince tree. This is my Smyrna quince, and it is beautiful. Look at those big white flowers. Just gorgeous. Cara orange. I've just put a whole lot of dynamic lifter on all of these fruit trees and scattered some around the garden beds too. I probably put about a third of a bucket of dynamic lifter, which is pelletized chook manure, a third of a bucket on each fruit tree, each of the established ones at least, with a couple of handfuls of blood and bone as well. And I do try and do that a couple of times a year at least. They like a lot of food. I mean, they're providing food for us, right? They're pumping out all these nutrients into fruit, and where's that coming from? It's got to come from somewhere. So we've got to feed the soil and feed the plants so that they can feed us. So I use chook poo from my own chooks. I compost it in these compost bins, and I also give them pelletized chook manure, compost from the food scraps. I'm going to plant some tomatoes here. I'm going to plant some here as well, in amongst the garlic, and also some here. I'm just doing loads of tomatoes this year. I think I'll probably grow about 40 plants, maybe even more. I might try and squeeze some into the fruit tree beds too. I've just got I've probably got about 10 or 15 varieties of tomatoes going at the moment. I'll show you a little video of what my front window looks like. Plus I've just started another 75 plants. So yeah, I've just been growing them for friends and family, and also selling them on Marketplace, which, you know, I will admit is almost a bit of a money loser, to be honest, but it's something fun that I've been doing and helps me meet people and helps me cover the cost of the potting mix. But yeah, it certainly gives you a tiny taste of the profit margins from nurseries that must be pretty slim, because for all the work that you're putting in, potting up, you know, germinating, watering, paying for the LED light, electricity, etc, 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 you know, it's not really worth it if you're doing it for money. At least not at the scale I'm growing. But it's a nice way to meet other people and grow a bit of a gardening community and learn from people as well. Talk to people about growing tomatoes. So that's been really nice, actually. I've probably started all up so far about maybe 350 tomato seedlings. Let me show you some of my tomatoes that I've got at the moment. See these ones here. Got lots more around here. Of course, I've got my beautiful mandarin and lemon trees in these big wine barrel pots. And some more seeds that I've just started. Black cherry, orange cherry, some Abruzzo, Periform Abruzzo. Yeah. Anyway, it's all happening. It's springtime. Get out in the garden, enjoy it.